What up, everybody? InstructaBeats back again here with our fraction lesson. Today we're talking about what is a mixed number. So let's split it up and see what our objective is today. Our objective today I will recognize and draw mixed numbers using area models and number lines. All right, you know this is an improper fraction, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and show it on my area model and my number line. I know my denominator, right, is 4, which means each whole needs to be broken up into 4 pieces. So there's one 4 broken into 4 equal pieces, or as equal as I can make it. Now I need to break my other whole into 4 equal pieces. And then my numerator is 6, which tells me I need to shade in 6 of them. And there you can see I've shaded in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now let's do the same thing on the area model. Again, I just like to show that area model and a number line are just two different ways to show the same value. So here I see I had 0, and then this would be 1 whole, right? Just like that's 1 whole brownie or 1 whole area model. Here's 0 and 1 on my number line. And then my next whole ends down here, so this would be 2 wholes. I like to circle these, and the reason I like to circle them is because it just helps remind myself that I need to break this 1 whole into 4 pieces. So there's my first whole broken into 4 pieces, and I went ahead and labeled 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 1 whole, or 4/4. Now I need to do the same for my second whole. There's my second whole broken into 4 pieces, and I labeled them. This would be 5/4, 6/4, 7/4, 2 wholes, or 8/4. And then of course I needed to shade 6 of them because that was my numerator. So I'm going to start at 0, and I'm going to count 6 spaces right here, right? It's all about the spaces, not about the dash marks. Okay, perfect. So now I've represented this. Now, the question today is, how else could you say this fraction? We know we have 6/4, okay, but is there another way to say it? And in fact, there is. You could write this fraction as a mixed number. So for a mixed number, you're going to have your whole number and then a fraction next to it. I see right here that I had 1 whole brownie shaded in, or 1 whole area model shaded in. So my whole number is going to be 1. And then my leftover fraction was 2/4. I had 1 whole shaded in and then 2 pieces out of 4. This is another way to write this fraction. If you look at my number line, same thing. I had 1 whole shaded in. Okay, that's my 1 whole. And then I had 2 pieces out of 4 shaded in. So there are 2 different ways to say this fraction. You could say it as an improper fraction, 6/4, or you could write it as a mixed number, 1 and 2/4. That leads us to our math vocabulary today. What if there is more than 1 whole? Well, we learned last lesson you could say it as an improper fraction, or you could say it as a mixed number. A mixed number is a fraction that is bigger than 1, and it's written as a whole number and a fraction together. So you write the whole number to show how many complete wholes are shaded in. Then the fraction represents the fraction of the last piece that is also shaded in. Mixed numbers and improper fractions represent the same thing, just 2 different ways to write it. Let's take a look and practice this. Here we have 4 cakes. Okay, we're going to talk about food. I like cakes. Really, we know the mathematical word for this is area models, or you can say tape diagrams, right? So we have 4 cakes, and I ate 11/4. So my denominator told me that each of the cakes had to be split into 4 pieces, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. This one had to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So my denominator is 4, and then I ate 11 slices or 11 parts of these cakes. So that's 4 pieces that I'm shading in. Here's another 4 that makes 8 total. So I need 3 more to make 11. So this is the improper fraction 11/4. Now, I want to write this as a mixed number. So my mixed number is going to have a whole number and a fraction. Here, I see that I had 1 whole completely shaded in. I had another whole completely shaded in. And then I didn't have any more wholes. I just have a fraction of my last one. So I see that I needed 2 wholes. And then I had 1, 2, 3. And my denominator is going to stay the same, 4, because that's how many each whole split into. This fraction that I just shaded in represents 11/4. But if you wrote it as a mixed number, it would be 2 wholes and 3/4. Both of these represent the same value. It's just a different way to write it. Let's do another I do problem, this one with a number line. So the first thing I want to do is when I get to a number line, I like to circle my whole numbers. And that just helps me make sure that I'm going to be able to figure out my denominator correctly. Let's write the improper fraction first. So I see in between 0 and 1, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces, okay? Again, don't count the dashes because you might do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or you might just say 3. You need to count the spaces just like we did for our area models, okay? So I see that my denominator is 4. Now, how many pieces do I have shaded in? If I start at 0 and count, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So my improper fraction is 9/4. I've labeled my number line down here with the fractions and then my improper fractions, okay? So let's figure out what our mixed number is. So I see from 0 to 1 is completely shaded in, okay? So that's one hole. Then if I go from 1 to 2, I see that I had another hole shaded in. That's 2 holes. And then I had 1 piece shaded in my next one out of 4. So my mixed number would be 2 holes and then 1/4. Both of these represent the same value, just a different way to write it. Now down here, I label these with fractions and improper fractions. I just want to show you that you can also label a number line with mixed numbers. So 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 1 whole wouldn't change. 5/4 would also be 1 whole and 1/4, right? I went 1 whole and then I have 1/4 next. 6/4 would be 1 and 2/4, or 1 and 1/2 if you simplified. 7/4 would be 1 and 3/4 because you went 1 whole and then you went 1, 2, 3 pieces. 2 would literally just be written as a 2, right? It's not a mixed number, it's just a whole number. Or you could write it as 8/4, and then if you had 9/4, this would be 2 wholes, 1, 2, and then 1/4. So you can label the number line or an area model with improper fractions or mixed numbers. Let's take a look at a we do problem. All right, so here we have the mixed number 3 1/3, okay, which means I know my denominator is going to be a 3, so I need to split each of these into 3 equal pieces. And then my whole number tells me how many complete holes were shaded. So I have 3 complete holes shaded, and then I had 1/3 of another hole shaded. So here I have 1, 2, 3 holes completely shaded, and then 1/3 of another one. I want to know what improper fraction is that. So my denominator is not going to change between my mixed number and improper fraction, right? It's still going to be 3 because each hole is split into 3. But my numerator is, because I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 pieces shaded. So my improper fraction that is equivalent to my mixed number 3 1/3 is going to be 10/3. You can write this fraction with either an improper fraction or a mixed number. It means the same thing. It's just a different way to write it. All right, here is your U-try problem. Here's your number line, okay? Here's the improper fraction. What mixed number does this represent? All right, so I'm gonna give you a hint. Go ahead and circle your whole numbers. That's gonna help you make sure you label your number line correctly. Push pause. Go ahead and shade in your improper fraction and then write down the mixed number. Push play and let's see how you did. So hopefully you just paused it. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put this improper fraction on my number line. So I always like to label my number line. Some of you might have skipped that step. This would be 1 whole or 3/3. This would be 4/3. This would be 5/3. 2 holes or 6/3. And I'm going to stop there because I already saw 5/3. Okay. So I know my denominator is 3. I'm going to count over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pieces. And this right here is 5/3 on a number line. Now, I'm going to write the mixed number down, and then I'm going to label my number line just to prove it to myself, right? So I have 1 hole completely shaded. I didn't have a second hole because my number line stops before I reach 2. So my mixed number is going to have 1 hole, and then from my 1, I need to count over 1, 2 pieces. So my numerator is 2, and my denominator is still 3 because there are 3 equal pieces that make up each hole. So 5/3 is equivalent to the mixed number 1 2/3. Now, I just want to also label my number line again to reiterate that you can either write these as improper fractions or mixed numbers. So my normal fractions are not going to change because I don't have a hole filled in, right? I'm not going to say 0 1/3, 0 2/3. That'd just be a waste of time. Here's my first whole number, 1. This would be 1 1/3. This would be 1 2/3. And if I kept going, this would just be 2 holes. This would be 2 1/3, 2 2/3. And then just 3. If you're at the whole number, you don't have a fraction, so you just write the whole number. Hopefully this was helpful, introducing mixed numbers, how to write it, to show you that improper fractions, mixed numbers are just a different way to show the same value. We appreciate you checking us out. Please check out all our other songs, timers, lessons that we have on our YouTube page. We'd love for you to subscribe, like the video, leave a comment, let us know where you're watching from. We always love hearing from you guys. Again, thank you so much for checking us out today. InstructaBeats, out.